Harris, that massive Minnesota fraud scandal is in the spotlight today on Capitol Hill. Two Senate hearings zeroing in on where the money went and who cashed it in. The money now being looked at is about $9 billion. Lawmakers sounding the alarm on so-called fraud tourism. Two men from Pennsylvania pleaded guilty to traveling to Minneapolis to steal more than $3 million from Minnesota taxpayers. Fox Business correspondent Darren Botello reports live on Capitol Hill. About $3.50 million in fraud was discovered, according to the Department of Justice. The two men you mentioned traveled from Pennsylvania to Minnesota and pled guilty to scamming Medicare beneficiaries, as well as exploiting programs meant for homeless shelters and Section 8 housing. According to the DOJ, this case represents one of the first charges involving the use of artificial intelligence to advance a fraud scheme targeting healthcare programs in Minnesota. Investigators say the defendants used AI to generate fake documents and fabricated records when questioned by insurance companies, attempting to make their claims appear legitimate. Officials say the scheme involved layers of deception, shell companies, false billing codes, and manipulated identities, all designed to evade detection. Authorities claim the fraudsters attempted to stay a step ahead of investigators by using technology to quickly produce realistic-looking paperwork. Federal prosecutors argue this marks a new phase in financial crime, where digital tools are being misused to scale fraud faster than ever before. Exclusive to Fox this morning, Pam Bondi released a statement saying, "Criminal fraud not only robs taxpayers, IT shatters trust in our institutions. Today's convictions are just the beginning. Prosecutors will work tirelessly to unravel fraud schemes and charge perpetrators in Minnesota and across." All this comes as two Senate committees hold high-profile hearings this afternoon on Capitol Hill, examining fraud and foreign influence in government programs. Lawmakers from both parties have called for stronger oversight, enhanced data tracking, and stricter penalties for those who exploit public funds. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars. It is an astonishing sum of money. Some of it, lawmakers claim, may have left the country entirely. We are looking at a systemic problem in certain states where taxpayers feel they are being taken advantage of. If you work hard and pay taxes, you expect accountability. This is not just a Minnesota issue. The Small Business Administration recently suspended more than 100,000 California borrowers over $9 billion in suspected pandemic ERA fraud. Officials say the scale of potential abuse across multiple states is forcing a reevaluation of how emergency funds are distributed and monitored. Harris, this seems endless, but authorities say they are chasing it. Darren, thank you. Congressman Riley Moore of West Virginia, a member of the House Appropriations Committee, joins U.S. Now. Your reaction to what some are calling fraud tourism? Thanks, Harris. I believe this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are only beginning to uncover the full scope. As Senator Hawley said earlier, there are serious questions about where some of this money ultimately ended up. Investigators are looking into whether any of these funds may have been diverted overseas. If that proves true, IT would raise major national security concerns. Moore added that Congress must strengthen safeguards around federal programs, including more real-time data analysis, better interagency communication, and criminal penalties that act as a deterrent rather than a cost of doing business. He also called for a broader review of how technology can be used both to prevent fraud and the conversation then shifted to international security, particularly religious persecution in Nigeria. Harris, the United States and Nigeria are moving forward on a new security agreement. This past weekend, gunmen killed 3 people and kidnapped 11 others, including a Catholic priest. While more than 160 kidnapped Christians were freed last week, many others were killed. President Trump previously warned that U.S. aid could be cut if Nigeria failed to protect its citizens. President Trump, no administration in modern history has done more to confront the plight of persecuted Christians around the world. We have taken action where others have looked away. Harris, reports indicate thousands have been killed in Nigeria in recent years. Congressman, you visited Nigeria and briefed the president. You said recent events represent one of the most horrifically bloody periods in recent history. Why? The contacts I have on the ground describe the last 10 days in the Middle Belt region as extremely violent. There are reports that hundreds may have been killed across multiple communities. Some of the victims were Christians. Others were Muslims who refused to submit to extremist demands. Churches were attacked, homes burned, and families displaced. This is not just a religious issue. IT is a broader security crisis. Moore said the U.S. has deployed special forces in a non-combat role to assist Nigerian security forces and has signed a security cooperation roadmap with the Nigerian government. He noted that recent legislation conditions security assistance on measurable progress in protecting civilians and upholding human rights. Harris, residents told Reuters that some attackers identified themselves as jihadists and demanded that villagers abandon their faith or face consequences. When they refused, the militants opened fire. Will Nigeria's president take stronger action? He has deployed additional troops, but many believe structural reform is a more localized policing system could allow states to respond faster to threats. Currently, much of the security structure is centralized, which can delay response times in remote areas. Empowering regional authorities may help communities defend themselves more effectively. He also emphasized the importance of economic development and education as long-term solutions, warning that militant groups often exploit poverty and weak governance to recruit followers. Harris, religious freedom is a core value in this country. When we see communities under attack, there's a strong desire to help. The discussion ended with a call for continued diplomatic engagement, humanitarian support for displaced families, and close monitoring of security conditions in the region. Lawmakers say the goal is not only to respond to crisis, but to prevent future violence through stronger partnerships, accountability, and transparency. Back on Capitol Hill, the hearings on fraud continued with testimony from oversight officials and policy experts. Some proposed creating a national fraud analytics center to track patterns across states. Others suggested mandating identity verification systems for high-risk programs. There were also discussions about the responsible use of artificial intelligence, not only as a tool that can be misused, but as a defense mechanism to identify suspicious claims in real time. As investigations expand, federal authorities say more charges could be filed in the weeks ahead. Both parties agree that public trust depends on accountability. Whether addressing domestic fraud or international security challenges, lawmakers say transparency, oversight, and cooperation will be essential in the months to come.